overflow hidden, this ensures the rounded corners clip content. And for the alt banner on the left side, this takes out 1.2 units of space, slightly wider than the right side. This shows the background image and it is centered and covering the entire area, and the content itself is already vertically centered, and the text is white because it sits on the image. And for the dark overlay on the image, the alt banner after, it is a gradient overlay that darkens the image to improve the text contrast, and the placed using the after so doesn't affect the structure. And for the off banner content, this ensures the text will sits above the gradient. And for logo styling, the off logo and the off logo span, it has a large bold brand logo with highlighted letters with glow via CSS variable colors. And on the right side form area of the auth forms side, this takes a 1 unit of space, smaller than the left side, and has a dark background panel, and the form is already vertically centered. And for the form styling, the intro form, the column layout with the spacing between elements, and it fades in on when load. And the intro form hidden, this allows toggling between login and register forms. And for intro form input and the intro form input focus, this is a semi-transparent background and has a light border that becomes primary colored when focused, and has also a rounded and modern text input design. For the intro form button, the gradient button has primary colors, and it has also a bold text, rounded corners, and blurring shadow. And for the switch text, in switch text A, this centered the low emphasis message, and the link is highlighted using the primary color. And the next part is the modal background or the pop-up window, and this creates a full screen overlay and a semi-transparent black background, a blurred backdrop behind the modal, creating a frosted glass effect. And it is hidden by default, and when visible, it uses flexbox to center the modal window with the high Z index, so it will sits above the page. For the modal open, for this one, when the class open is added, the modal becomes visible and it plays a short fade in animation. And for the close button, the button is positioned in the top right corner inside the modal and has a transparent, and it is transparent, so only the X icon or text is visible, and it has a larger clickable size. It also has a higher Z index, so it stays above the modal content. And for the account modal, this uses our theme variable as the background and has a padding for spacing inside the modal, and has a rounded corners with responsive width. It also has a 90% on small screens and maxes out at 400 pixels on larger screens. It also has a subtone semi-transparent border for a modern look. And for the position relative, so the close button can be positioned inside it, and it also plays a zoom in animation when the modal opens. And for the book modal content, it is already as a centered modal box that has a flex display that allows side-by-side layout that contains the book cover and info, and has a responsive width and rounded corners. And for the overflow hidden, so the image clips cleanly and has a subtle transparent border and has a heavy depth shadow for a floating effect, and also has a smooth zoom in animation when open. And for the position relative, it is for the placing elements inside, like the close button. And for the modal body, this ensures the inner content also uses flexbox. And for the modal cover on the left side of the book cover, this makes the cover panel fixed with 300 pixels. And for the flex 300 pixels, this means that it won't grow and it also don't shrink, but the base size is 300 px. And for the position relative, this allows obsolete elements to be positioned inside later if needed. And for the modal cover image, This makes the book image fill the entire cover section. And the object fit cover, this ensures it crops correctly without distortion. And for the display block, this removes default inline spacing. And for the modal info on the right side and the book cover, this takes up the remaining width and that adds spacious padding and has a vertically centered content and the column layout and has a column layout for the badge, title, author, summary, and button. For the badge or the genre, this has a small fill-like tag, often showing the genres, the historical, the fantasy, crime, horror, and science fiction, and has a soft blue semi-transparent background with slight outline and rounded edge. With fit content, this only as wide as the text. And for the modal info header 1, this shows a large condensed title text. And for the modal author, this shows a light color for the secondary importance that adds spacing before the summary. And for the modal summary box, it has a rounded content box for the book description and has a max height for longer text scrolls instead of switching the modal, and has also a soft border and custom background. And for the modal summary box, it is for the readable paragraph styling with a comfortable line spacing. And for the primary button, this is a bold full width call to action button and also uses a theme's primary color with smooth transition for hover effects. And for the primary button hover, has a slightly upward movement and has a stronger color and has a soft glowing shadow that shows a modern interactive feel. Next is for the list view and the list view active. This shows that the list view is hidden by default, and when it gets to the active class, it becomes visible and it plays a fade-in animation and it adds padding left-right spacing. And for the history header, this creates a horizontal bar with items spaced apart. And for the clear history button and the clear history button hover, it is styled as an outlined field shaped button, and it hovers and has a hover fields with accent colors, and this gives a nice interactive feedback. And for the card history item .meta, and this adds extra spacing below metadata inside the history cards. And for the history stats, this creates a subtle divider above the stats. And for the progress track mini and the progress field mini, this track has a small light bar and it fills with animated gradient bar which grows when the width is changed via CSS, giving a smooth progress animation. And for the history footer, its layout for additional info like timestamps and tags and more, and it has a small muted clean typography. And for the remove item button, the remove item button hover and the card hover remove item button, the purpose of this is for the float circular delete button, and it only appears when you hover over its card, and it has a dark translucent background highlight effect on hover. For the empty state, there's a message box shown when no history items exist, and it spans the entire grid width, and it spans the entire grid width and has a dashed border and muted colors, and this visually communicates empty. And here at the reveal hidden, these are the utility reveal classes that these are the helper classes used to animate elements when they scroll into view. And here is the reveal hidden. The element starts transparent and move downward and has a smooth transition, so when you switch to reveal visible, it animates smoothly. And the reveal visible, this brings the element back to its normal position and combines with the transition in the reveal hidden to create a slide up fade in effect. Keyframe animations. These define the reusable animations for fade, zoom, and slide motions. For the first keyframe fade in, this is fully transparent or fully visible that fades in. And for the zoom in keyframes, this starts slightly smaller and fades in. These are great for modals, cards, and pop-ups. And for the slide up keyframes, this moves upwards and fade in. This is often used for the sections and scrolls. This is often used for sections on scrolls. And for the media, it shows that everything inside the block applies only when the screen width is 900px or smaller. And for the alt banner, display none. This removes the large banner on small screens. And for the alt container, this ensures the container fits better on mobile and also has no fixed height, so it grows naturally. So in the alt form side, this adds more compact spacing for the mobile use. And for the modal body, instead of a side-by-side layout, the model content is already stacked vertically. And for the modal cover, this fixes image or cover heights for mobile users. And for the mobile info, it is slightly smaller padding to fit the content better. And for the model info header 1, this reduces the large header size for mobile widths. And for the list view and the list view active, in the list view, for the list view, this is already hidden by default, and when the element gets an active class, it becomes visible. And the fade in animation runs over 0.3 seconds to smoothly show the list, and has a horizontal padding that adds spacing on the left and right. And for the history header, this turns the header into a horizontal flex layout, and it also vertically centers the content, and it pushes the elements to opposite ends and limits the content width for cleaner design. And for the margin, the auto means it centers the header container horizontally and adds top and bottom spacing for breathing room. And for the clear history button and the clear history button hover, this creates a pill-shaped outline button, and using the transparent background, the accent colored border and text, the rounded corners with border radius, and the padding makes it look like a proper button, and it ensures smooth hover effects. And when on hover it, the background becomes the accent color and text turns white. And lastly, for the history card layout adjustments, the card history item .meta, this adds the extra spacing below the meta section inside a history card to separate the metadata from the rest of the card contents. In the history stats, it shows that the margin top shows the space above the section, and the border top shows a subtle dividing line, and the padding top shows the space between the line and the stats content. And for the progress track mini, this shows the progress bar background, and it has a light translucent background, also has a small height with compact minimal bar, and has a rounded edge and also ensures the progress field stays clipped inside the rounded bar and has a space beneath it for the layout separation. And for the progress field mini, this is the actual progress field inside the track. It has a gradient field that moves to the left to right and it starts at 0% width, so the CSS can animate it by changing this value, and it also makes progress animation smooth. And for the history footer, this creates a small footer bar within the card, and it shows a flexbox layout with items spread apart, and it is has a muted text color and small font for secondary info. And for the remove item button, there's a flowing circular button positioned inside the card, and it is absolutely positioned in the top right of the card and has a circular button with a subtle border and centered icon inside, and it is initially hidden and also has a smooth fade via transition. And for the remove item button hover and the card hover remove item button, and when this shows that on hover, the button change to accent color, and the button becomes visible only when the card is hovered, providing a clean UI until interaction. For the empty state, it's only used when there is no history items. It spans the entire grid width and has a large padded area with a dash border and has a muted color for subtle and non-distracting messaging. And that's the last part